Picture this. You start a journey to gain power and end up as a twisted mass of flesh, mindless, with no will of your own. Or, if you're lucky, you become a Demon Prince. Powerful, immortal, but enslaved forever to the dark gods. In the Warhammer 40K universe, serving chaos isn't just a high-stakes gamble, it's a cruel trap. Every victory pushes you closer to a horrifying transformation. Either you become a chaos spawn, an irrational monster, or ascend as a Demon Prince, condemned to serve eternally. And no matter what your fate, your soul belongs to the Chaos Gods, lost forever in the warp. But what makes someone choose to enter this nightmare? Stick around, and I'll show you exactly why the path to power in 40K is actually a one-way ticket to damnation. In the Warhammer 40K universe, the voice of chaos is everywhere. For those who feel powerless, desperate, or just curious, ignoring these whispers is almost impossible. The Chaos Gods know exactly how to speak to every human weakness and ambition. Khorne, the Lord of Battle, seduces those who crave strength and victory. Tzeentch, the Architect of Fate, attracts those seeking knowledge and control. Nurgle, the Lord of Decay, promises relief from pain and fear of death. And Slaanesh offers pleasures and sensations beyond any human limit. Each god offers a way out, but the true price is always well hidden at the beginning. Chaos doesn't just attract the weak or selfish, it infiltrates even the noblest hearts, twisting good intentions until no one recognizes themselves anymore. Lorgar, primarch of the Word-Bearers, started out just seeking faith and meaning, and ended up corrupted, transforming devotion into destruction. Even those who enter this path to save people or fight against injustice end up drowning without realizing the trap. For many, it all starts with a simple desire to escape suffering, prove their worth, or feel like they matter in such an indifferent universe. Chaos promises not just power, but transformation. A farmer, humiliated for years, becomes a warrior, driven by Khorne's rage. The scholar, starved for respect, surrenders to Tzeentch, believing forbidden knowledge will bring him justice. The sick merchant seeks comfort in Nurgle, accepting rot in exchange for freedom from the fear of death. And the artist, or hedonist, always hunting for greater pleasure, finds in Slaanesh opens doors to experiences no one else knows. Each god knows the right bait for each person. Everything seems intimate, personalized, but Chaos's gifts come with an enormous price. Something science actually helps explain. Our brain, for example, has specific regions, like the prefrontal cortex, that shape personality, mortality, and identity. Damage there, like in certain cases of dementia or trauma, can erase who you are. In Chaos, this would be elevated to the nth degree. You lose yourself until you become just an instrument in the hands of something greater. At first, the so-called gifts of chaos seem incredible. Stronger muscles appear, absurd reflexes, mental powers. But every gift is a trap. Every act of devotion marks you a little more, and the mutations don't stop. What starts as an upgrade becomes a grotesque transformation, pulling you further and further away from what makes you human. And this is where real science makes the terror even more real. In the real world, just a single nucleotide change in your DNA, we're talking about altering one letter in a 3.2 billion letter genetic code, can cause uncontrolled cell growth. That's how cancer develops. Normal cells divide about 50 to 70 times before dying, but cancer cells can divide indefinitely. Now imagine this process out of control, fueled by warp energy, creating extra arms, eyes in the chest, mouths where they shouldn't be. The human body simply wasn't designed to handle this. The biological overload would cause extreme pain, multiple organ failure, and accelerated cellular destruction. It's biological chaos that makes the idea of chaos mutants even more terrifying. Followers of Tzeentch, for example, seek forbidden knowledge and end up with bodies in constant flux. Bones twist, flesh reshapes, vibrant colors emerge under the skin. Deep down, it's like the body is trapped in a loop of mutations, unable to settle on just one form, something that biologically would be a total collapse of the immune system. With Nurgle, things get even more disgusting. The god offers immunity to pain and disease, but at the cost of becoming a walking pile of rotting flesh. In real life, bacteria like Clostridium perfringens can destroy tissues at a rate of 2 to 3 centimeters per hour through necrotizing fasciitis. The smell would be of gases like cadaverine and putrescine, compounds that start forming just 4 to 6 hours after death. A single gram of decomposing tissue produces enough volatile compounds to be detected by the human nose from 100 feet away. A follower of Nurgle would be exhaling this constantly, with bacterial colonies in their lungs producing hydrogen sulfide at concentrations that would be lethal to normal humans. We're talking about levels 10 to 15 times higher than what causes immediate unconsciousness. Imagine living like that in a constant state of decomposition. The possessed, Chaos Marines who emerged with Daemons, represents another terror. The process is like having two consciousnesses trying to occupy the same body, which, neurologically, could resemble severe dissociative disorders, but elevated to cosmic levels. Your brain normally fires about 200 trillion synapses per second to maintain consciousness. But imagine that system trying to process two completely different sets of memories, emotions, and impulses simultaneously. The neurological strain would be like forcing a computer to run two different operating systems at once. Constant crashes, memory conflicts, and system failures. The result is flesh and armor fusing. Horns, fangs, tentacles. They gain absurd powers but end up completely losing their own identity, as the extra neural pathways literally burn out sections of their prefrontal cortex. And then there's the worst fate, becoming a chaos spawn. When someone accumulates too many mutations, body and mind can't cope. In the real world, this collapse would be similar to multiple organ system failure. Your liver processes about 1.5 liters of blood per minute. Your kidneys filter 180 liters daily. And your heart beats roughly 100,000 times per day. Now imagine all these systems trying to adapt to random new organs appearing overnight. The protein synthesis alone would consume 300% more energy than normal, while your cardiovascular system struggles to supply blood to limbs that shouldn't exist. In chaos, this becomes a living mass of flesh, bones, and extra limbs, with no memory of who they once were. These spawns are used as disposable weapons or left behind, a cruel reminder that chaos values no one. Life among Chaos servants is defined by constant warfare and paranoia. It's not just fighting external enemies, it's surviving among your own allies. From the humblest cultist to the most powerful Chaos Space Marine, everyone lives walking on eggshells, trying to win the favor of the Dark Gods. For cultists, life is pure fear. Ordinary people who once lived under the Imperium's oppression end up attracted to chaos seeking freedom or power. But reality is cruel. Cultists become cannon fodder, pushed en masse onto the battlefield with improvised weapons and barely any armor. They're expendable, nothing more than pawns in a larger game. And it doesn't stop there. Many cultists still face ritual sacrifices. Some are dragged to altars, offered to the gods in search of small miracles. Sometimes they don't even die. They become mutant horrors, a living reminder of chaos's cruelty. The truth is, no one is safe, whether on the battlefield or in bloody rituals. Above them stand the Chaos Space Marines, former heroes of humanity, now corrupted by the warp. At first glance, they seem like absolute masters, armed to the teeth. But in practice, they live under a regime of violence and betrayal. Each promotion requires defeating or killing the previous rival. No position is permanent, ambition is mandatory, and at the same time, fatal. Any sign of weakness can be an invitation for backstabbing. And all this gets worse because the warp affects the mind. Demonic whispers and hallucinations corrode sanity. Your brain normally uses about 20% of your body's total energy, roughly 320 calories daily, just to maintain basic cognitive function. But constant exposure to psyche phenomena would force your neurons to fire at rates up to 40 times normal, literally burning through glucose faster than your body can supply it. Paranoia becomes survival instinct as stress hormones like cortisol spike to levels 15 to 20 times higher than normal, concentrations that would cause immediate adrenal failure in regular humans. It's as if the entire warband is trapped in a constant state of collective psychosis, with their brains producing dopamine and serotonin at completely random intervals. In the real world, this resembles psychotic or dissociative disorders, where the person no longer knows what's reality. In chaos, it's this elevated to cosmic levels. And then there are the greater demons, creatures summoned to destroy entire armies, but who can turn against whoever summoned them, killing allies without warning. It's the ultimate reminder that in chaos, no one controls anything. Power isn't really in mortal hands. It's like releasing a deadly virus in the middle of your group and thinking you can stop it later. Chaos isn't a solid hierarchy. It's a constant battlefield where everyone is disposable. Even a Chaos Lord can fall from the top overnight, whether through subordinates backstabbing or the fickle moods of the gods. This is the life for those who serve chaos. If you're weak, you're used and discarded. If you're strong, you become a target. Each day is a test of loyalty, cunning, and strength, with the shadow of a betrayal always nearby. And the worst part, all this is just the prelude to the greatest gamble any chaos follower can make, because in the end, only two possible fates exist: becoming a Demon Prince or a Chaos Spawn. For those who serve chaos, the ending is always extreme. The entire journey leads to one of two paths. Either you ascend as a Demon Prince, or you plummet to become a Chaos Spawn. The promise of ultimate reward is always there, dangling before every champion, but almost no one reaches it. Becoming a Demon Prince is incredibly rare, reserved only for those who not only survive, but perform feats so absurd they can catch divine attention. It's not enough to just show loyalty or violence. You need to become practically the living embodiment of the god you serve. But even that doesn't guarantee anything. The Chaos Gods are unpredictable. Many champions on the verge of ascension are discarded at the last moment. Those who manage to ascend gain immortality and powers beyond any human limit. As Demon Princes, they exist more as warp entities than living beings. If they die in battle, they return after centuries. But this immortality comes with a price. They have no freedom. They become extensions of their patron god's will. Every other demons see them as creatures tainted by their mortal origins. Immortality becomes a prison, not liberation. The ascension process is brutal. The body is torn apart and rebuilt, transformed into a monstrous receptacle full of horns, wings, claws. It's as if biology were torn up and reassembled without any evolutionary logic. In the real world, generating new structures in the body would require growing blood vessels, nerves, muscles. Your body would need to create roughly 20 feet of new blood vessels for every cubic inch of new tissue. If something close to chaotic mutation existed, the pain would be unimaginable. Imagine every single nerve ending firing at maximum intensity as your skeleton restructures itself at the cellular level. And for every Demon Prince, there are thousands who fail. Most Chaos followers receive no reward at all. Their mutations spiral out of control, destroying body and mind. In the real world, this would be like terminal cancer, cells growing at absurd rates until the body becomes unrecognizable. Normal cell division takes about 24 hours, But chaotic mutation would accelerate this to minutes, creating tumors that grow at rates of several pounds per day. Your metabolic rate would skyrocket to consume 15,000 to 20,000 calories daily just to fuel the cellular chaos, while your body temperature rises to potentially lethal levels above 108 degrees Fahrenheit. In chaos, this creates a spawn. A twisted being covered in extra limbs, mouth screaming without sound, without reason, without memory. It's not always punishment just for the weak. Even powerful champions can be discarded in a snap of the fingers. In the end, the chaos system is designed to keep everyone fighting, always hoping for divine favor, never secure. The gods test, torture, and toy with their servants, offering power with one hand and destruction with the other. And the line between reward and punishment is so thin, it's sometimes invisible, until it's too late to turn back. Whether ascending to demonic status or becoming a spawn, fate is sealed the moment you surrender to chaos. There's no way back. There's no recovering what was lost. In the end, everything that makes you unique, will, purpose, soul, is reclaimed by the ruinous powers. The transformation is total, and the consequences eternal. In the end, chaos seduces with promises of power and freedom, but its gifts are nothing more than shiny chains. They corrupt, deform, and ultimately enslave. No follower can simply walk away from there. Their souls are forever trapped to the chaos gods, lost in the mutating tides of the warp. Whether as a Daemon Prince or spawn, the price is always the same: your essence, your identity, and your future. So tell me, would you have the courage to surrender to any of the chaos gods? Which one attracts you most, if any attract you at all? Drop a comment below and don't miss the next video, because we're going to continue exploring the madness and horrors of the Warhammer 40K universe. Until then, and be careful of the voices whispering in the dark.